Well, I have this paper so I don't repeat myself. I'm going to talk a little bit about the tombstone that is in my garden. And instead of rambling, I made this paper. It says the story about the tombstone. It says, I bought this property, number one. Number two was, one of the first things I did was to decide where I wanted to put my koi pond, which is that. So I decided to put it there. And then I decided I needed a fence around it to keep the dogs out. The neighbors kind of like to let their dogs run wild a little bit, although there are leash laws even out here in the country. But, you know, the dogs are tolerated. I like the dogs to come up, but, you know, they like to get in the pond and splash when it's hot and tear things up. You know how dogs are very energetic. So, you know, I put a fence around here. And then the second thing I wanted to do was plant the plants, the flowers. So right over here, I started digging where these rocks were. These are just recent rocks that I put down. So really about right here where the rocks were, the four of the rocks, I started digging, and I hit something that I thought was kind of a piece of concrete or some kind of a slab. And it was lying flat. And when I dug it up, I discovered that it was a tombstone. I could tell by looking at the shape. I couldn't see any writing on the tombstone at all. I didn't hardly even know which was the front and which was the back, so I set it up over here, over there. And one day I was sitting, not in this swing because this swing is newer, but I had another swing and I was just sitting here and I looked over toward that way. Those flowers weren't there at the time because almost nothing was growing in this garden when I first moved in. And I could read the words over there because I guess the sun had, not the sun, but the rain had washed everything away. And this is what it says on the tombstone. And I don't believe that a person is buried over there. I don't know how that tombstone got there. It was laying flat down on the ground, down flat, and about 4 inches underneath the ground. And so the tombstone over there, we'll go look at it in a minute. It says the person died August the 24th, 1864. His age was 13 years, 11 months, and 9 days. And the name of the tombstone on the tombstone is W.M., which would stand for William, and the last name is Cox, and that's my last name. I mean, what can you say? I wrote down I was really shocked to read the words especially when I saw that the name on the tombstone was William Cox, and you know, my last name is Cox. I mean, of all the chances in the world that I would buy a piece of property that I didn't know that anything about at all, period, and I made this fence, this pond here, put the fence around it, and arbitrarily dug over here to put a plant, and I dug up a tombstone, and I could not read what it said on it, and I put it over there where it is now, and the rain had washed all the dirt off of it, and I looked over there and I could see that it had my last name on it. I mean, what would you do if you would be digging a piece of, you know, digging a place in your yard to plant a plant, and you hit a concrete, or this is not concrete, whatever that's, you know, thing is made out of, and you would find out that it was a tombstone, and then later on you would find out that it would have your last name on it. So that's the story of the tombstone.